G'day tubers, how are we people? Hope you are all well. Thank you to my subscribers, my viewers and anyone else who contributes anything at all to these videos. Well, guess what? It's an election weekend in Australia. That means we have to go and vote for a bunch of people that we wouldn't even have as our friends. Don't even get me started, but I know who I'm voting for. But anyway, yeah, let's get on with it. Honda GX390 cleanup. This is not a restoration. It's merely cleaning up what is already there. We're just making it nicer. Let's hook in.
Honda GX390. Little or no compression. I don't think it's got a spark. This is one of those engines I got with those Wisconsins and that. You know, I've got about 4 or 5 of them. We're going to pull it apart and have a look at it anyway. Got a lot of concrete dust or some sort of dust all over it. You know, may have ran a bloody, I don't know what it's ran. It's got a pulley on it. Yeah, I don't know what it's run. The gasket there doesn't look that old. Doesn't mean anything, but it's basically complete. Muffler, carby, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, as I say, GX390 will, yeah, throttle's a bit tight, but that's all right. We're going to tear it down, have a look and see what's wrong with it. If just depending, if it needs, like, you know, rings and that sort of thing, we might do it. We'll just see what the cost of it is. But if not, as usual, we'll try and do what we can to make it nice without spending any big bucks on them. As you know, these, I mean, I can replace this engine for a couple of $100. Not a Honda, but a Chonda. And so why would you spend big bucks on the thing? But if I can get it going and looking good for, you know, nothing more than a bit of time, well, I reckon it's worth having a go. Tanks off, guys. Very straightforward. Pardon me, I've still got a bit of a bloody cold or China virus or something. All the governor appears to be there. Just make note of the settings where things are. So on and so on. Throttle or lever moves. Throttle's free enough. It all appears to be complete. No, it doesn't look like it's been mucked about with too much. Yeah, we'll just keep going how we are, and yeah, it might not be too bad. We just don't know. I just, you know, as I say, compression's a bit dicky. Could be just a stuck valve. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Muffler's off. Very interesting exhaust gasket, that one. Looks like a factory thing. I could be wrong, but I wonder what those two lugs are for on that. That's, you know, as I say, that was sitting there like so. And yeah, whatever. And yeah, I just wonder what they're for. Very interesting. If you look closely there, guys, the governor spring, pardon me, is broken. I think I've got another one though. I think. If not, I'll yeah, I don't know. Blower housing's off. Carby likewise. A lot of dust or something. It's been in a dusty environment. Look at it. It's bloody, don't know what it is. Hope it's not asbestos. It's yeah, it's been in a very dusty environment though. I'll take that switch out of there. Yeah, bit of clean up here. Do have to love, pardon me, do have to love these things. They're so easy to work on. Flywheel's simple, just a tapered shaft with a key. Just put a little pry bar behind it. Screw your nut on pretty much all the way, but not tight. Give it a tap with a hammer and she pops straight off. Very easy. Yeah, we'll just keep going here, and I suppose next thing's to drain the oil out. Well, all the accessories are off. Basically time to strip down the basic engine. We'll start by removing the rockers and pull the push rods out and that, and then we'll probably pull the cylinder head, and we'll be starting to get a better idea of what's going on with this motor. Said it before and I'll say it again with these things, guys. Don't muddle up the order of your components, specifically exhaust intake. and any other internal engine components, always keep the order the same. What we'll do, in that tray, we'll have our exhaust, and in this stuff, we'll have our inlet stuff. Cylinder heads off, guys. No real surprises in there. A bit of carbon in that, but that's to be expected. Cylinder. A little bit hard to see in there, I know, sorry. A little bit of a ridge, just more carbon. There's a bit of carbon there. Try to rotate. She's turning over all right. Ball looks pretty good from what I can see. Yeah, we'll just keep going. Yeah, it looks all right so far. No big bucks needed at this stage. That's the side cover off. No real surprises yet. A few little timing marks here and there. There's one, it's a bit hard to see. On that governor pulley, by the look of it, there's one on the cam, one on the crank, obviously. Yeah, no big, oh, can't see anything wrong yet. Just take note of those things, guys. As you can see, that conrod is not symmetrical, so it'll only go one way. Yeah, so just keep your eye on those things. Pistons out, guys. Appears to be quite serviceable. It's a stubby little conrod, have a look at that. But bearing surfaces, all of that look all right. Rings aren't stuck. Doesn't appear that bad. It's I wonder why the motor stopped. Tell you what, guys, it's easy to get caught out with these bloody things. I was just looking at the the valves, and I noticed the intake's got that little cup on it, and also that top retaining collet is different to the exhaust. Yeah, so that sort of sits on there like that. Just watch these bloody things. It's so easy to lose these parts, and I don't know how hard they are to get, but that could have been a real little trap if you're not careful. I nearly fell for it. Sorry about the light in here, guys. Well, that's the poor old Honda GX390. She's down as far as she can go. Now begins the real fun part of cleaning it all up and trying to make something of it. Actually, really looking at the components and that, it's not that bad. A damn good clean up, tidy up. I haven't found anything wrong with the engine components. Yeah, but we'll put a new gasket kit and seal kit through it. I've got to get a pull start assembly. They're not very much, I've just seen them on eBay. And lick of paint, we'll bung them back together and we've got a good motor. Well, let's clean up this throttle assembly. It's not too bad. Some more of that, pardon me, some more of that ground in bloody, don't know what it is, concrete dust or what, but comes off easy enough. But this will be painted in whatever colour we're going to do the engine, and I'll just try and clean up the lever and all of that. You know, see if it's gull, I'll try and clean it up a bit, you know, try and get it to shine a bit. Tell you what, guys, a little bit of ultrasonic cleaning and a little bit of tyre shine, and you can get the parts coming up not too bad. I just really coat them thick in tyre shine and just let it soak in to the plastic, and not that that's plastic, and they come up pretty good. Well, pardon me, well guys, there it is. Yeah, the little white Honda, just for something different. We'll do it white, see what happens. That's that shroud that bolts to the back of the cylinder head. Come up alright with a bit of white. There we have it, guys. One throttle assembly. Come up nice, pretty happy with that. Well, pardon me, we'll start on this carby, have a bit of a look. Yeah, I mean, it looks shitty outside, but that's just dirt. Sorry about the sunlight there. Yeah, well, you know, we'll pull it apart, ultrasonic clean it, and there's probably nothing bloody wrong with it. I mean, you can buy them new for, next to nothing, but I want to get as much done as I can without spending money, if that makes sense. A little bit of rust in the bottom of the bowl there, guys, nothing serious. Yeah, nothing too serious in there. Fuel's a bit gone off a bit, you know, it's probably been sitting a long time. Float and all that comes out easy enough. Needle looks serviceable. There's probably stuff all wrong with it. A good clean up and she'll be fine. I didn't go into great pains on this, guys, just ultrasonic cleaned it, blew it all out, everything, checked it out, it seems to be okay. I'm not going to do a video on how to rebuild these carbies, there's that many of them. I mean, how many do we need? So just clean it up, make it nice, and yeah, it won't be any issues. Starting to get there with the parts, guys. Yeah, they're coming up all right. The plastic fan come up okay. Pardon me, the blower housing's all right. In white. Cylinder head's done, just got to be reassembled. I'm just waiting to see if the gasket kit comes with a new valve guide seal on that intake. Painted the flywheel, you've seen all that. Yeah, we're getting there. Just do a bit of work on the crankcase. Paint the tank and that, she's just about ready to go back together. Well, we've just about got all the bits cleaned up, guys. Crankcase is done, exhaust is done, so on and so on. All of that, carby's done, blower housing's done. Got a whole new pull start, or recoil assembly, pull start, whatever they want to call it. It was red. I pulled it to bits and give it a lick of white. So yeah, it should all hopefully, you know, match in, no worries. Yeah, just about ready to do assembly. That's the decompressor for starting. What happens is you can see that little lug there. See how it moves out of the way once the centrifugal weight pulls that counterweight across. What that'll do is that'll lift the exhaust valve slightly. So the lifter, or the follower, will just ride up a little bit and slightly open the valve. Once she fires, that comes out of the way and it doesn't touch the follower anymore. I think that's how it works anyway. Yeah, carby's done, just got to clean up the tank. Got some nuts and bolts soaking in evaporust. And I tell you, look, the price of this stuff is phenomenal. Now, that's 5 litres and that cost me about 45 bucks. I've seen this going for $80 and $90. Absolute rip-off, this stuff. But yeah, I mean, in the States it seems to be as cheap as you like, so I don't know what we're doing here in Australia, but anyway. Yeah, let's get on with it. Valve installation, guys, very simple. Obviously lubricate your valve really well. We're doing the intake first. That's got a seal there on the valve guide. The exhaust doesn't. Main reason being is a vacuum or suction from the motor on the intake is going to draw oil down past the seal as well, or through the guide. So if you put a seal on it, it reduces that. I think that's the theory. We don't really need a tool for these. The springs aren't that hard. So we can do them by hand, and these are good ones because the retaining collet just sort of locks in. It goes down and then slides across like so. So very easy to do these ones, guys. Clips in as simple as that. You just sort of push that collet down, or retaining clip, or whatever you want to call it, down and across, and then let it up, and then it automatically locks straight into the valve. What I like to do is just get a hammer and just lightly bounce it up and down off the top of that. That just makes sure everything's seated. We'll put the exhaust valve in now, guys. There's a shim. It goes under the spring, just like that. There it is there. It's, yeah, I don't know if, well, the intake didn't have one. I don't know if it's been lost or it just never had one. And other than that, installation's exactly the same. Just watch on your exhaust, you've also got a little cup that goes on the top of the valve. And you'll also notice that the collets are different. That's the exhaust one, and that's got room allowing for that little cup on top of the valve. We can start on the crankcase, guys. First thing we need to do is put new crankshaft seal in. Just put a bit of oil, some sort of lubricant around there, a bit of grease, just so that slides in. Just tap it nice and gently right on the edge, just till it's flush with that housing, and that should be plenty. That's a seal in, guys, nice and easy. Plenty of oil on it, and likewise on the crank. Then I think we can drop that crank straight in there at this stage. I don't think there's anything else to go in. Crank's in, yeah, just check that it's rotating freely, not binding or anything like that, and I think we can put the counterweight in next. I hope this is right, guys. Just put that counter shaft in. See the little two dots there? Where are we? In there. Provided you line those two up, which they are, that should be right, because those gears look like they're the same size, so they'll always come into mesh at the same point. Not like the cam, which is of course twice the size or half the speed. Yeah, hopefully that's it. Piston goes in nice and easy, guys, with a ring compressor. As I say, just make sure you get it the right way. Make sure the slinger's down and everything rotates without interference. Don't forget your governor activation arm, guys, and your oil level sensor. Yeah, as I say, we're all timed up. We can put the followers in the cam, and we're just about ready to put that outer housing on. Put your cam in, guys. We'll put the followers first. Heaps of lube on them. You know the one, that sort of stuff, or your lube of choice. Line up your two marks there. So that tooth has to point at that dot on the cam. That's separate timing, obviously, we did that earlier. Yeah, a little bit of oil and lube, and we're just about ready to put that side case on. Just get your side housing ready now, guys. Put your seal in. Just put it flush with the housing. Turn him over, and we can drop that bearing in there. Time to slide on that side housing, guys. You've got about 3 or 4 things you've got to line up. Teeth on the governor, they've got to line up with that. That bearing's got to line up, that bearing's got to line up, and that bearing's got to line up, as well as the dowel pins. Very gently lower these down, and if they're tight, tap them lightly. If they don't go, stop and double check everything's lining up. If you start belting hell out of it, you're going to do some real damage. It should go, if everything's lined up, it should go fairly easy. There we have it, guys. Your basic Honda GX390 crankcase is assembled. Just make sure she's all rotating all right, which this one does. It's a little bit tight only because it's new seals and that. Yeah, next thing to go on is the cylinder head. Make sure the surfaces are clean, guys, and your dowel pins are in at the top. Put your new gasket on, and you're ready to sit your cylinder head on. Put your push rods in, guys, and then your rocker arm, and then your adjustment nut, like so. Plenty of lube on the end of it, because it does pivot on that. And just take it down, just till it nips, like so. Keep going. just nipped it, back it off a little bit. Make sure you're on top dead centre firing number 1. Don't tighten these because this is going to be set near clearance now, so just leave a little bit of slack on both of them, and then we set them to clearance, and then we put the lock nuts on. Well, the book calls for 0.15 and 0.2 on the inlet and exhaust respectively. That's about 6 thou and 8 thou. So on this particular gauge, the thicker bit up here is 8 thou, and that thinner machine bit is 6 thou. So we'll do the intake at 6, the exhaust at 8. Well, that's your basic engine done, guys. Pardon me. Cylinder head's on, rocker cover's on, new gasket in there. We can start putting accessories on now. The next thing I'll put on is the flywheel. So tapered shaft with a key, quite easy. Yeah, it's starting to look like a motor. Flywheel's on, guys. Also our fan and our hub for our pulley, pull start. Just watch these. They've got little dowels that you have to line up. They'll only go one way. Likewise, well, that's a bit hard to see in there, but there's actually a pin on that fan that has to line up for that. So yeah, it'll only go one way. We're turning over quite nicely. That's probably the wrong way, actually. That way doesn't matter. Yeah, we're getting there. Putting a few accessories on, guys. Carby coil adjusted at the magnet to about, I think it was about 16 thou. I think I've got a spark, but I don't know how good it is. I did a bench test and I've got a spark, but I don't know how good it's going to be. I may have to put a new coil. We'll see when we come to start it anyway. Coil's easy change. New gaskets on the carb. Got to get a new plug. Probably start putting some of those housings on. These little housings just aren't for decoration, guys. It actually works in conjunction with the main blower housing. The air from the fan comes through, across inside and directs over the fins on this side and the exhaust. That's the hot side of the motor. Don't leave it off. You may have overheating problems. So yeah, these things are there for a reason. And yeah, I mean, the engineers that design those things don't spend hours and hours and millions of dollars getting them right for mass production. You know, they don't put this shit on just because they like the look of it. It's actually got a purpose. Starting to look like an engine. Put a few little bits on. Had to buy a new switch. Hopefully it's all right. Yeah, slowly getting there. Not much more we can do now till I paint the tank and that. Few little bits and pieces. Exhaust's on, guys. Yeah, once again, very self-explanatory. Air cleaner assembly's on. Everything's on and ready to rock, bar the petrol tank. We're just waiting for the paint to dry, and we'll bung her on, and a bit of luck tomorrow she'll be a goer. Well, there it is, guys, the GX390. She's all reassembled, oiled up. Yeah, all we've got to do is put a bit of juice in it and see if she goes. I'll put a new switch on it. The old one was a bit air going. And the new recoil, as you know. What did it cost me to do it? I mean, a bit of time, but I think the recoil was about 20 bucks. Gasket set was about 15. A couple of seals was 10. You know, and a tin of paint here and there, probably only sort of $60 or $70 Australian to do it. Bit of time, but of course you've got to have the tools and equipment to do it as well. So, but you can do these for pretty cheap, I reckon.
Kick it in the guts, Barry.
Well, guys, that's the GX390 cleanup done. We've got another one coming up pretty shortly. It's one of those Wisconsins. Remember, I got those 4 engines all together. Well, this Honda was one of them, and I've done 2 of the Wisconsins. I've got one more to do. Once again, it's just a cleanup of what's there. These aren't restorations. It's just fixing what's there, and anyone can do this, and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. Besides which, this little Honda that we've just done, I can buy a Chonda for like $300 for the same thing, and that's brand new. So these are worth nothing. It's purely the pleasure you get from doing it, but that applies to whatever you're doing. Guys, have fun, stay safe. Thank you to my subscribers, my viewers, and anyone else, and we shall talk soon. See you later, guys.